Guys, Scott Sillari here with Real Synch, and I'm super excited today to be, um, hosting really a webinar, interview, conversation, a way to add value really to the marketplace and agents out there, with my two really good friends and work colleagues, Matt Wagner with radio and television experts, and we'll get more into what Matt does, and then also Michael Perna, who's one of the top agents and really just advocates for buyers and sellers in his marketplace, which is the Detroit metropolitan area. Michael, would you say?
Yep.
Or yeah,
Yep. That kind of 5-county area in and around Detroit. So
so
Southeast Michigan. Yeah.
so Michael, why don't you jump in real quick before we go to Matt and give people, because there's gonna be a lot of agents watching this, and I think to identify kind of a little bit with what you've done with your business with KW, maybe just a little background on the scope and the landscape of where your business is at right now, and kind of who you are as this leader of your organization.
Absolutely. So I've been going all the way back. I've been in real estate just a hair over 20 years now. Through the down market, it really kind of propelled us forward from me being an individual agent with an assistant to kind of creating an entire team, right? So when the down market hit, it was a great opportunity to pick up market share and pick up business that otherwise we couldn't. Since then, and we hit about 80 million in 2012. Since then, we've been growing. 2020, we hit 137 million. We just went over 100 million for the year. This year, last week, we'll probably end the year about 180 million, maybe 700 units, maybe 720. And that's probably conservative. And if my director of sales is watching this, so don't put it anywhere he could see it, he will kill me because he's going for 1,000 units. They're pushing me at this point, not the other way around.
Right.
Which is good, which is what you want, right?
That's great. And then is this all one office? Do you have multiple offices or locations? Yeah. Talk a little bit about that.
No, that's a great question. So it's all in primarily across two offices, one in Novi, Michigan, one in Royal Oak, Michigan. And that's those are the offices we use kind of as our hubs to go physically into when we need to. And to be honest, for the most part, pandemic being what it was, we're still 90% remote.
Right.
So we're doing like a quarterly offsite event where everybody in the organization has to go to or is invited to. Either way, whatever way you want to look at it. And then weekly, we're in the office, either Austin or myself, or Sadie Sadie, our training manager. Again, just to work with agents, script and dialogue, help them with their calls, help them with anything that they need. And again, that's not a requirement. It's just that one of the three of us are present every Tuesday, just in the office to help. And we get about 25% of the agents that come in because they want to get out of their house.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Michael, thank you so much. So I'm going to jump to Matt, and then we'll kind of get to why we're all together, which is exciting as well. Right. So Matt, same thing, a lot of agents watching right now. We want to, we're going to pack a bunch of value into this interview today. Talk a little bit. I mean, you have a long background, man. So tell them like who you are, what you do, and how you've helped real estate as a whole in general over the time that you've been involved in this industry.
Well, that's a little question. How much time you got? Well, no, I'm going to give the condensed version of it.
Yeah.
So I actually worked at a radio in different facets of radio for about a good 10, 15 years. And then I was actually working at a radio station, and I started working with a guy, Jay Kinder, love you, man. And he doubled his business just by me implementing a couple of strategies on radio. And one day at lunch, we're joking. I say, man, wish I could clone you by 30. And he said, you should really come with me to this conference, because that's where like all these guys are hanging out that love to get better and improve. And there's nobody that does what you do. So I decided, my sister lives in Phoenix. I'll go there with him. I go there. He plugs me from the stage, and you know what happens. Everybody gets excited about the new shiny object, and I get bombarded with business cards. And I just begin to realize that there was really nobody helping realtors use radio and TV the right way. So I started down a journey of just working with one market, then 5 markets, then 10 markets, then 50, then 100. And now, we've over 17 years, we've worked in over 200 markets. And we work with a lot of just hundreds of different agents and launched them successfully. Some we still work with. And, I mean, it just created a new way of doing radio the right way and doing it that way, as well as TV. And now really we've found some great digital partners that we're working with as well, really smart guys. So we've kind of gone in that direction as we've needed to, because media's changed. The way people consume things has changed, and we've changed with it. So, now we've kind of built this big machine of, 200 plus agents that are all really doing radio and TV the right way.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, the reason we're here today, guys, watching is obviously Michael and Matt have a ton of experience within the real estate industry from different perspectives, and obviously they work together, and really created a culture of how to do business and work with a lot of different I guess you'd say arms of your business to make a great business, right? And so today we're going to talk about some of the things that we're doing to generate the leads with radio and television, and also, but then talking with Michael about what working with Rate and working with the people that Rate brings together, radio and television experts brings together, and this upcoming event that Matt is hosting, and what the landscape of that looks like. So I think to start, maybe Michael, talk a little bit about Rate and your involvement, and not only from the lead side, but like what it's kind of done for your business, and the excitement around this upcoming event with Lance Loken and at his office with Keller Williams.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's kind of a 3-part answer to that question that I'm kind of thinking of. I mean, the obvious one is the coaching and the training around, getting onto the radio, and then, all of the benefits, like getting the lower price per spot because of the larger media buys. All of those things are there's no way I can handle that myself. Let me put it that way. I don't know enough about it. No expertise, no background. Right. In addition, Matt's connections, especially with like a Barbara Corcoran, some of these other personalities, those are just way outside my wheelhouse or scope. And those introductions have been, amazing for our business, right? Getting that brand name recognition has been amazing, right? And we do use that quite a bit, and we're using it with our ISAs on our phones now. Again, going back to conversations I've had with Matt on retraining our ISAs based on some of the other successful agents like Lance and what they've been doing, and kind of reiterating that brand down the line with not just radio and television, but through the phones, through email, through all of that, right? Like leveraging it all. That would be number one. Number two, and I think people kind of underestimate this, is the community that's been created. And I'll use just the last Barbara Corcoran shoot as the example. So we flew out to New York, was that 2 months ago, maybe? Is that all right? Yeah. And the night before, I'm sitting there having dinner with, Robert Tukansky, who is with Remax, and an amazing agent, amazing human, great guy, honestly. And we're sitting there, and like a light bulb went off just in 2 sentences. He said something that I'm working on implementing that's going to change the trajectory of my business again, going in a different direction, right? And that community that Matt's created of those high level people that, and I love this part, they're just like brokerage agnostic. They're just good people that want to see other good people succeed. So they don't do like the secret club or anything like that. They're more just like, oh yeah, this is what I'm doing and working. What are you doing and working? We're all learning and growing from each other. That community has been amazing, just frankly amazing. Yeah. And then I guess the third one is being able to do that in person. Like I'm really looking forward. This is my first Rate event. I haven't been before, right? I've been a Rate client for a couple of years, but I missed the first Rate event, and then of course pandemic. That was a thing, right?
Right.
So this is the first time that I'm actually going to be able to see and meet a lot of these folks like in person. I'm super stoked to see Lance's office. I know he's been there for a number of years, and there's been a number of invitations to come down, and I haven't had the opportunity, so I'm really stoked to see that. Of course, see my coach, John Chiplack, see, Joseph Lee, see, I just switched over to the Sierra platform 2 weeks ago, meeting the CEO. I didn't even know that was a thing until this call right here, but seeing the CEO of Sierra, all of it, it's going to be an amazing
free concert.
And a free concert.
Like, yeah. How do you beat that, right?
Wait, the free concert? Where? Where's the invite, Matt? I'm just learning about this. No, I'm just kidding.
We let our partners in the room for that.
Yeah. I feel like am I going off too much on a tangent? Because I'm kind of going way far afield on that
No,
question.
No. That was great.
Okay.
You absorbed my elongated question, which did have a ton of parts, and answered it perfectly.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So that's really exciting. So Matt talked a little bit more. I think one of the cool things that Michael brought up was the community, right? Talk a little bit more about how you've but how you've created this community and it's evolved over time, and you continue to add value by bringing new people in and keeping it fresh. And just talk a little about your mindset about that and how you do that, and then how that lends to this upcoming event as well.
Well, I'll tell you, you know how Barbara Corcoran likes to say that on the heels of your her biggest failures came successes. And I've learned to live with that. I've taken what some people might perceive as a negative circumstance or something that happened to you that wasn't pleasant, and turned it around into something beautiful and positive. I've always believed I celebrate failures in that sense, because I say, how can I get better from this, right? So it was about 12 years ago that I brought some people in initially, and they decided, okay, they learned this, they went up and did this on their own, and I remember going to Jay one time, and I'm forever grateful that Jay Kinder said this one thing to me when I said, dude, I'm losing clients. What can I do? And he said, man, you got so many rock stars that you work with. Bring them together and make something that's bigger than you. And it started with a little round table of like 12 people that we had when we got together. And then it grew and grew and grew and grew. And I just began to realize that the sum is greater than the parts, right? I mean, when you get a lot of different people from different coaching companies, different levels, different companies, they all kind of merge together. Like Michael said so really well, it's not about production. We don't put a badge on people saying how many units they sold, how much production they did, because there's been many times that one little person with a small team might share one idea that the whole room takes and blows it up, right? So that's kind of the beauty of what we've built with this, is that, and we're continually, what I'm really excited about this year is there's a lot of what I call quiet crushers, people that aren't necessarily as vocal, but they're crushing it. Like, they're going to be at Mastermind and nobody's ever met them. So there's a lot of fresh new people that are just doing amazing business, and they just never had a chance to really get a mic or to talk. And, when you start mingling with different people, the beautiful thing is that everybody has been at some level, right? So you might have that person who goes, well, I don't know, I'm only doing 100 or 200 transactions. And then you meet a guy like, Rob Dukansky, great example. When I met him, he was only doing 120 transactions. Now he's doing 1,500. I met Justin Haver when he's doing 150 transactions. Now he's the first Canadian to crack 1,000. So these guys have all grown, and they're all willing to share, okay, this is the layer that I did to get from here to here. This is the layer that I did to get from here to here. So that everybody's so free to share because they've received benefit from the community. So because of that, there's just kind of a good openness, and because it's one per market, they're free to share. They're not afraid of their competition being in the room, there. And so it's really created a very nice flow of free-flowing ideas that have really brought it all together. And because of that, we've brought partners like you, Scott, that, people that complement what our agents do. It's not, I would be remiss to say radio and TV is the only reason why people are growing. It's not. It takes a great website. It takes great team members. It takes great follow-up. It takes all these other elements. So I've always felt like if I can bring those other components together and introduce our agents to those partners, well, they're going to get to hear much faster. And when they get to hear much faster, everyone's happy because everybody wins. And so that's kind of the spirit we've had around these masterminds for many, many years. And obviously it's proven to be an event that people will say all the time to me, this is the only event I come to all year, and they really mean it.
Yeah, I love that. So Matt, just a little bit more about that. Let's talk specific about this event. Who are some of the people that you're bringing together for this event? And then maybe Michael, you jump in about, what you're excited about when it comes to what you foresee coming from this event. Hopefully, obviously, I'm getting long-winded, but what you're excited about when it comes to this event.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think just seeing people.
Yeah.
You know, right?
Yeah.
I think just actually
100%.
looking someone eye to eye and giving them a hug, I think we're excited about. But in a nutshell, it all starts first and foremost with the people, with the agents. If it wasn't for our amazing network, we wouldn't have a mastermind. So first and foremost, the quality of people that are there. I think in LA 2 years ago, we're still working on tally the numbers right now because we still got a few people jumping in and late. I think when we did it, we figured it out in that room in LA. The last one we did, the average in the room was 285 units a year per agent sold. I think about 75 million in production and about a little over 2.5 million GCI. That's average. That means like there's some people below that, some people above that, but there's just a wide variety of people in the room. So I think seeing that diversity is the first thing and foremost. And everybody that's on stage, that's one of the toughest parts, because I like to say we start with a few people and we wind up expanding into the room, because I wish I could put 30 people on stage, right? You can't. So you start with a few that are doing a lot of things, and then you open it up. And that's where you discover that one or two things that someone might be doing that people go, wow, that's cool. That you see the wrists writing, right? But the key is that everybody in the room, they're doing it. It's not just a case of, oh, I'm thinking of trying this, or I'm gonna do this. Like, these are people that are already using systems at a high level. So now they're sharing stuff with people that already work, that are already doing it at a high level. That's other thing that I'm just excited about. And, as far as other people, that are there, I've learned over the years to invite partners that we already work with, like we're having Gary LeVox from Rascal Flatts sing for us. That's going to be great. Two great new guys, hottest guys on radio right now. They just launched on 400 stations. Clay Travis and Buck Sexton. They replaced the famous Rush Limbaugh. They're on 400 stations. They're going to be joining us via stream to talk about their new show, which is huge. A lot of people have already jumped in on that. Then you've got John Cheplack, obviously amazing coach, coaches some of the biggest people on the
Very
planet.
excited about him.
There. And he's just going to bring value. It's not like he's trying to ask people to sign up or anything. They naturally come to him because of that, right, in his events. And then Joseph Lee has just turned the real estate world upside down. I mean, he's launched so many agents into Google and has been such a key component with what we do, that to have him there and be able to hang with people. And he sought us out. I mean, he wanted to be in a crowd full of implementers. So that's a cool addition. I'm actually, I don't even know if you know this, Michael, but I got a really cool chick from Detroit. She is actually the psychologist of the stars, and she lives in Detroit, Donna Rockwell. She's one of the co-founders of CNN.
Oh, that's
she
awesome.
actually coached like Tiger Woods, Michael Jackson, like a lot of celebrities that are, and how to deal with fame.
I'm gonna write Donna Rockwell.
Pressures. Yeah, she's incredible. So she's going to be another value add that we're bringing to the table there. Going to talk, but to wrap it up, I would say why I'm excited. We're going to take people on a journey, if you'd say. First journey is, here's Lance Loken's office that does 2,500 units a year, $500 billion in volume. Everybody gets to look, study, see what he does. That's day one. Day two, we go on a journey. We start with all the best systems that are working right now in radio and TV. There's about 13, 14 that I counted out, and not one person is doing all of them. So there's going to be something new that everybody will be able to take 1, 2, or 3 things from that. And again, these are all end users. These are all people that are doing it. They tested it. They know it works, and it's great. Then we're going to have the little private performance by Gary, which is going to blow the room away. Then we have lunch where people just mingle and talk and share. Then we're going to go on the what happens when you go to the top of the funnel, right? Joseph Lee is going to break it down about some of the best practices to get conversion, to get people to the site. Then we're going to go over follow-up systems. You know, we're talking about Real Synch with what you guys do, with what other systems that are working great for following up on lead flow to get them to convert. Then we're going to have a whole session on profitability from guys that are just profiting levels at 20, 30%, which is unheard of for most people. Some even as high as 80%. It's crazy. But we're going to cover that. We'll wrap it up with Donna talking about, you know, how to deal with fame and the pressures from COVID, the pressures as a leader, all the common things that people at a high level experience. And she's the guru at that, right? Then some of us are going to go to a baseball game. We got a suite at the Astros game. There's still a few tickets left. We're going to go hang there, talk shop, because the first thing I learned by going to conferences, the people that are making the most money are at the bar after midnight. Mm-hmm. True, right?
True.
So then Thursday, we do a whole session on getting team buy-in, being able to figure out how to retain people. Then John Sheplock takes the stage and will blow minds away. And we're going to end it at 12:30 because I just find that most conferences, I think we've all gone to conferences ourselves. What happens in the afternoon? People either check out mentally, they jump on their plane, or they're thinking about where they're going. They're not there. So rather than that, hey, everybody just hang out and mastermind if you want to, catch a flight if you want to, but it's kind of open discussion for everybody after that's done. So why do I sound excited?
Just a little. I mean, I'm excited.
What would you add to that?
I'm excited too. It'll be the first event I've been to, I think, since your LA event.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So it's exciting. Yeah.
By the way, drinking in Michigan today, baby.
Nice. Nice. Hey, I may or may not have a cup for you for my last trip.
Okay.
Just telling you. Just telling
right.
you. Put it out there.
Okay.
I remembered.
So Michael, what, you know, and then we'll kind of wrap up here in a little bit, but like what's getting you excited about this upcoming event and being part of this community, being able to be with people in person, obviously, but.
Well, and I think number one about the event is, again, just being in a room with like-minded people. One thing that Matt has really done a stellar job of, I think, is having good people in the room, not just big people in the room. And there's a major difference with that, right? I mean, the organizations that are putting their people first and our culture first and are people oriented and not just one segment of people, like the home buyers or the home sellers or the agents, or, you know, like all of it, like people, the teams and the agents out there that are really advocates for every rung in the ladder in an organization, all the way top to bottom. Matt's put these guys into a room, right? Yeah. And so I know that's a room I'm walking into where they're all thinking like me and I'm thinking like them. And that's exciting because you don't get that all the time. Sometimes you walk into a room at other places, and this isn't intended to go negative, but it's the truth. And you've got CEOs only out for CEOs. You know, step on the agents, step on the clients. It doesn't matter. The client experience can be terrible. The agent experience can be terrible, right? Culture could be at an absolute low, right? The only thing that matters is profitability before the people. And that's not the type of business that the people in this room like to run. And I know because I know them. I've spent time.
I'd love to comment on that because I actually went to another mastermind event, not real estate related. I want to step outside the comfort zone. It was like one of these, there's a lot of these groups out there. And I learned from that so much. I paid 10 grand. Damon John was speaking at. I'm like, hey, I'll hang out with Damon again. He was at our event a couple years ago. And I just want to explore opportunities. And, you know, for 2 days, I met the organizer 5 times. I will not forget it. And he was so distant and indirect, not even a thank you for coming. And I was alone. I sat by myself, didn't really talk to many people. And I'm a social guy, right? And I like to bring value. I get that. But I walked away from that event going, I don't ever want to have somebody have that same experience that I just had.
Yeah.
Like, I am going to make sure I meet, and I tell people, and you'll hear me say the same thing there. I will be offended if I don't get a selfie, if I don't get a hug, if I don't get just an acknowledgement. I will be offended. I want you to talk to me during the breaks because I appreciate you being there. I mean, people, it made me appreciate when you're spending hard-earned money to travel to get there, to spend money in a hotel, airfare, event, giving up your day, giving up both days. I respect that. and I am just motivated to put on the best show. I want this to be the only event people attend all year, and they'll walk away with going, man, I got tremendous value. That's what drives me.
I love it. All right. Well, I'm real excited about it, and so before we wrap up,
Hey,
oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, don't forget, you're gonna be there, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
I mean, dude,
So-
Scott, man, how many years have we actually known it? Like, it's been a decade, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Like through this journey of a couple of different places and whatnot.
God,
And
I
I
remember
don't
when you were hired.
Yeah. Matt remembers when I was hired.
Yeah, yeah. So it's literally been a decade, and we've never met.
You remember when I had hair?
Back when I had hair. Yeah.
And let's be
I'm
honest,
covering it up with this
why
big
you're
headset. I'm
that's the
covering-
only reason you're excited to be on this call, Scott, is you're the only guy. You actually have more hair than anyone on the call. So come on.
You know what? It's rarity. It's a rarity these days. I'll take it. Yeah, no, I mean, look, I'm just excited to be part of this community, and that, something that I value more than anything is the relationships I hold and I've been able to build within this space over the last 10 years. And, to be able to come and be part of the community and add value and receive value, and that's what I'm all about, baby. And I love it. I love building relationships, helping people become more successful, to leave an interaction and know that I've been able to, help move the needle in a sense with their business in one way or another. That's what my goal is every time I leave a conversation, right? So, it's exciting to be able to come in the capacity of Real Synch, which we're, tech and automation and integration company, and to know that, there's a handful of clients we're working with right now from the radio and televisions group, and Michael, you're one of them. And to know that, like, right now there's a big need for what we're offering, what we're doing, and there's so many systems out there, and it gets overwhelming for a team lead, and you have so many things that you have going on right now, and when you're really focused on people too and building a great culture, sometimes these things are being handled by someone that may not be able to handle it because it's getting too big, right? And so, Michael, maybe just speaking to a little bit on how you came to us and you're working with us, and then yeah, I think that'd be helpful insight for those that are thinking about, like, what is IT and tech and automation actually, how's that helping my business, right?
Sure. And would it be all right if I just outlined like our latest experience or my last experience with you?
Please, that'd be perfect.
Okay. So effectively, I did a relaunch on our website with Sillari, who's a fantastic vendor, fantastic website builder, all of that, right? I see a lot of people using it. Here's my issue with it, right? So I use the CRM right now, FirePoint, which is great. And I couldn't get the leads from one spot to another. So I effectively have a couple of different options on my plate. One of them is set up Zaps with Zapier. However, I'm just gonna be honest, my Zaps always break and I won't find out for a couple of weeks, and it sucks. One option is paying a virtual assistant to hand import, but then there's also a time delay. And when you involve a human, there's errors that happen. So I literally just texted Scott. I was like, hey man, I just broke my business again because I launched this site and I wasn't really thinking about the lead thing, and it doesn't just go over here and do the things, and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And you were like, hey, you available for a call? I'm like, yeah. We hopped on about a 5-minute call. We verified that you're actually working with both vendors already, which is great. The next day you had gotten back to me with what's the next? No, it was right after the weekend. You had gotten back to me with a quote. I'm like, great. That was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Just do the things and then done.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I think my time involved, other than some friendly banter about getting to the gym, was probably 15 minutes, and my problem was solved.
Yeah.
And that was a pretty big problem because, like, right now our SEO and our websites, they're about 18% of our total business. So to not have those leads go over is a big issue.
Right. So one of the big things, right, which you can't get from a Zap, and why Michael reached out in the first place too, is the interaction, right? So
Yeah.
when you start getting interactions within the IDX of Sierra and you want those notification and interactions of what zip codes or what homes those people are looking at, and they haven't opted in per se yet, or they're opting in on specific property, to get that over into FirePoint and assigned to the right agent, it's a little more complicated than what Zap can handle, right? So that's kind of what we're doing. And this is what happens is you expand as an organization, you're doing 7, 8, 900,000 transactions a year, is that your automation integration needs get much more specific, but much more custom. And so that's where we come in and we're able to diagnose essentially your situation, your circumstance, because it's different with every big team, and hopefully help you solve that problem. Yeah. So I'm excited to be able to help you, Michael, and to be able to also talk to people, Matt, at the event about some of these things, because I feel like it's definitely something that's more prevalent right now with the way the technology is and the way that everything needs to be integrated and automated. And there's so many different new systems. I mean, and even the GLS, the Google Local Services leads that everyone's generating right now, and how we can automate things like that. There's a lot going on. So,
and I'll add this too. I mean, Scott, and you know this, and Michael, you know this from working with us. We vet I call them partners. I hate the word vendor. I don't use it because I feel like a good partner helps you improve your business. And so we've made good friends with a lot of partners like you. And even when you were at Viral, I mean, that we did that because you brought value. You made what we do at Radio and TV Experts better because you enhanced what we do. At the end of the day, if Michael gets a lead and he can't convert it, or it gets lost in a system, we're screwed because he won't make money. He'll be able to afford advertising. With you, he's better. With you, he's more organized. And so, and we're very careful on people that we allow, even our partners that we allow at the event. As you know, Scott, what was the first thing I asked you? Who are you working with and rate? Right. You gave me several references. I talked to them. They all said great things. So the thing I love about partners at our event, they're not there being pushy. They're not trying to have an agenda. They're just trying to help people. That's how we made it when we first started 17 years ago, was by genuinely trying to help. If you come from that place, you'll always win. And that's where you guys come from. And that's why I'm proud to have you guys at our event and future events to come.
Yeah. And you know what? And I appreciate that too, Matt, because you've known me, you know the type of person I am for a long time, right? But it's not just about that. When you bring a new business in, a new partner, it's about the value that business is bringing to your clientele. And I appreciate the fact that you didn't just go, yeah, I know Scott, he can be there. That you actually did the vetting again, made sure that I was actually helping some of the clientele, or our business was helping your clientele and bring value, because that's what I expect. That's what your clients expect. And that's what other partners that you have expect, that we're all in it together in this community. So I really appreciated that. It's awesome.
One last thing I'm going to add, just as a practical point. When in doubt, I would advise just reaching out to Scott directly. And here's the reason. Twice now, I've worked with you, and companies have said, "Oh no, we're not connected with," and they actually were. So the customer service departments of some of these companies don't know all of their vendor partners, but Scott does.
Right.
Yeah, and I almost didn't call you because of that, actually.
Yeah, that was.
I was like, what?
I talked up the food chain to make sure they all know now, But yeah. Reach out to me. Yeah, I mean, most people, Matt, as you know, probably have my cell phone from back in the day. But any last things we want to mention, Michael, Matt, before we wrap up? And this has been really awesome. I appreciate your time, both of you.
Well, I would say we still got plenty of room in Lance's office if somebody's curious about it. Obviously it is client only, but I mean, we've got a lot of people we've actually added several new clients this month. Really, for this part, they want to make sure that they could be invited to the party, and I'm excited about having them adding new faces, that way too. So there is still room open, and I would say, listen, if you have not talked with Scott and I jokingly call it NSYNC because I say, like, Scott looks like Joey, from NSYNC.
I can start dancing for you.
It's right, no, because I don't say bye. But
yeah.
Anyway. No, but I think the other thing to take away is there's no one thing. And I think the cool part about like picking the brain of someone like Michael or Scott or even me, like even once I can't work with somebody per se because of the market, I'm still referring them to several different people that are great partners. And I think Michael does that, you do that, Scott. There's a lot of good guys in our industry, and us good guys have to stick together and help each other. I think the enemy is not the other agent in the market, the other top agent. The enemy is still apathy. The enemy is still people that are being given doing it themselves or listening to some big iBuyer company, or they're not getting good advice. And the more we can help each other, the more the industry gets better.
Agreed. 100% agreed.
Michael, anything to wrap up?
I'm just, again, excited to see the people, excited to see Lance's office, excited to see all of the speakers that are coming in. And just really looking forward to the great conversation by like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's it.
Me
That's
too, man.
literally the number one thing that I want is just grab a couple coffees and like a ton of coffee, if you know me.
Yeah,
and just spend
absolutely.
the day, frankly, just picking the brain and masterminding with people.
Right.
That's it.
And I'm looking forward to a lot of hugs.
Absolutely.
I need it. I have a year and a half of hugs to make up for it. I don't care. I'm giving hugs. I love it.
That's right.
All right. Well, hey, thanks so much, guys. Thanks, Michael. Thanks, Matt. And Michael, if anyone watching, I know we kind of briefly touched on it, but you've really emphasizing a referral program,
Southeast
right?
Michigan.
Yeah.
We will take care of your folks just like their family. We always do.
And I have no doubt about that. Absolutely. Well, thanks so much, guys. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks now. And yeah, and reach out to any of us, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks again. Thanks so much.